So America can't help anybody by supporting them. Like I know you're gonna have people argue that what you can do with your dollar and everything is something, is not nothing, and there's this, and that, and the other thing, and dollar, and the dollar can. So it's not nothing. It's not like America does nothing to support anybody. It's just that how they say like how people say like I want to do this and that to help black people or something, and it's like everything you're doing is just fucking up black people and making us worse. It's not until you work on yourself then somebody can tell you so that you did something to help them, and you wouldn't believe how much it did. So it wasn't until you work on yourself then somebody can even come up with something if you didn't even think about that, and they said, yeah, then this really helped me to know what I got to do, because my plans don't make sense to anybody else. Your plans don't make sense to anybody else. You got to stay before the healing can begin, you have to say you're on Team America, not Palestine, not Ukraine, not Israel, not like we couldn't have, what I'm saying? Like you can't really be enthused, like you can't be like happy to be enthusiasm about anything that we do to help, because it's all proxied up and convoluted as shit. So nothing is what it seems, and it's all earmarks. What I mean? If you like send anything anywhere and don't check to see where and how it's used, and you don't have a system, a way to validate that anything got where it's supposed to go, then you just know it didn't, and it got used to do something else. So it's like even worse than that. Like it's creating it's attriting the civilians, and is supporting the garrisoning, digging in of little proxy armies. So no heal, nobody can heal until you say God bless America and nowhere else. And then because they're waiting for you to say, oh, I support this or I support that, and then everybody waves their little flag, and they hope that irritates the other person with their little flag that says, oh yes, I support this and I support that. And ain't nobody on the team. You're not play for the fucking New York Giants. You're not in the Super Bowl. You're not in the military. You should shut the fuck up. And unless you're in a religion, like if that place is a religious holy war, that's when holy war is even worse, because then everybody's included and anybody can weigh in. Like if it wasn't a holy war, then just even if you're in the United States military, you could talk. There might be something relevant for your discussion for you to talk about Palestine and Israel because you're in the military. Everybody else is just like waving their little flags, like it's just irritate. You won't start the healing. And if I say God bless America and nowhere else, then you're gonna be like, oh, you're Nazi. But see, you're just starting to do the shit now. Now you're saying, you said that about Ukraine, and next thing you know, you're sending money to the Ukraine because they're Nazis or not, or whatever. It's a setup. I'm not saying that we're trying to support Nazis by sending money to Ukraine. It set us up to send money to Ukraine where they are not Nazis, because Nazis are coming to denazify the Nazis. So it's very convoluted. Makes me want to say fuck everybody, but it's not how I feel. It's just that I feel like things can't start to get better until we say God bless America and nowhere else, because it's because of our world policing and proxy everything, like because of it's like a quantum effect of looking at the quantum field and seeing the polarities switch out because the observing mind is like always going to, affect the outcome to the extent that they had to let it's not number random generator, but they had to allow like a camera and robots to monitor the situation so that the quantum effect could take place in that sense that it's supposed to be set up for a 50-50, but they were guiding the experiment with their eyes, or looking at the subatomic particle. You'll when you see the polarity, it flips over because you're talking about subatomic, and there's no particle. It's all vibration in space, and the observing mind is like all matter and everything's consciousness. So you have an effect on something by you study it. You alter, you change anyone you study by where of their fucking, they know that you're paying attention. My action, my whole nature and everything change. So if it sounds like racist to say God bless America and nowhere else, it's like in the Edidorfa, you have to do the thing so it can be done with, and put your foot down, and it'll be finally done with, because until then it'll never be complete. Then nobody ever does the thing. And be done with it. So it's like yeah, well, it has to appear to be like some act of sedition is treason or something like that. Like you'll be arrested. There's no support coming. The whole fact of the matter, the point is that we know that everybody is gonna come down on you. Like you don't want to be this because you're never gonna find a job in it. You just got out of college. You're never gonna find a job because you're one of the stupid people. So yeah, nobody likes you. I know, but at least you get to mature past the mental level of telling somebody nobody likes you. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do with that? Like, as long as nobody commits crimes, like, who fucking cares? Isn't that the whole point? And perpetuating war crimes or proliferating, and accelerationist eschatology type of shit that goes on Radio Rwanda, that people like to indulge in a little bit if they see that it's like, you know what I mean? It's like in a way that they feel is presentable, but they don't understand is that after everything happens, they come around and looking for those people. Those Radio Rwanda people went to prison. They're in a fucking prison. It wasn't just the homeless people that tried to live in alternate housing units or some crazy wench poured gas on their sleeping bag. The fucking what was I trying to make a connection or something? But it's just like there's, if somebody wants to behave in that type of deceptive, subversive manner, then there's maybe nothing you can do about it, except for the fact that you know that in the long run, that never works. Then it's just like a matter of time kind of thing. So it's like there are some people that have like reverse indicators, like the Kramer dude for the stock tips or something, because they made a portfolio of all the things that he said not to buy and all the things he said to buy, and over time it's like the ones that he said to buy went broke. everything he said not to buy, you would be okay. If he said stay away from his poison, it's like, I said buy that, okay, you would be okay. But it doesn't just like, okay, black the Black Lives Matter, the people who started Black Lives Matter, they burned alive or smoke inhalation or something, but they've all been like, they all get like killed in terrible ways, like burned. They're all dead. That's weird, right? Remember, I was talking about, like, I was kind of like being facetious about people drowning in 2 inches of ice water because they were all taking the ice bucket challenge at a time when it was distracting from something where the spirits were upset that people were not conscious enough to help them find justice. You were just all distracted and on some other fucking goofy shit. And taking the ice bucket challenge, and all these people that took it, they all like died ice related death. Like, they all died ice water related death. It was so weird. It was like the fucking movie with the fucking, I forget what it is, where they didn't die on the plane and fucking they cheated death, and death was like looking for them, and so like everywhere they go a screw is fucking loosening up, and fucking some shit was like setting up to try, and somebody had to be like like thinking of 2 steps ahead of death, try to keep saving their friends and just go someplace safe where there's like no risks at all. Like, everything is like fucking all right, that's enough.